Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Brandon here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Val, and he's selling his Amazon FBA and e-commerce business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Val, and how are you doing today?
Hey Brandon, I'm great. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's nice having you on the call today. I'm really excited to talk to you about this business you've created. But before we get into the details of the business, let's go into a quick summary. So the business itself is an Amazon FBA and e-commerce in the pet care niche, and it was created in April 2018. The average monthly revenue for the business is $21,623 and makes an average of $5,051 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 47344 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing and start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given you a general overview of the business, what's included in the sale are the Amazon Seller Central account and 3 SKUs, the domain and all site content and files, the trademarks, which are 5 registered and 1 pending, the email list, with over 242 subscribers, social media accounts for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest, supplier contracts, and it is also worth noting that inventory is not normally included in the list price, and further details can be provided to active buyers. So, Val, can you tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, Brandon. Well, I started in 2014. I used to own a brick and mortar business that was like buy, sell, and trade during those times. And Amazon FBA reached out to me to do kind of like a pilot program for their FBA. So I decided to join up. So I did a little retail arbitrage, and I also sold a lot of the stuff that came in through my doors during those times on Amazon, and realized that there was a big potential. And so in 2018, I decided to start doing private label. And that really took off, and I got rid of everything that I was doing and just focused solely on the private label side of the business. And now we are here looking to sell on Empire Flippers.
Okay. No, that's really great. And so then does a majority of the revenue come from Amazon, or is a lot of it coming from the e-commerce side of the business as well?
Yes. So about 85% of the business comes from Amazon, and it's also now selling on Chewy. And I think about 8 or 9% of that is in Chewy. And then I have also a Shopify website that sells a portion of that revenue.
And then, so why was it that you decided to go into this niche? Was there something specifically that stood out to you when you first started getting into the Amazon FBA space?
Yeah. So back in March of 2018, I started watching YouTube videos and saw that people were private labeling product. So I did some product research, watched a few YouTube videos, did product research using Jungle Scout, and found a high demand, low competition niche and decided to dive in on that. And luckily, I caught the trend at an early stage with very little competition, and it turned out really great. Then I was able to expand into 2 other products and, build that business and grow an actual brand. So much so that, I was able to build a recognition off Amazon, and that's how Chewy, the largest pet retailer in the world, found our brand and wanted to partner and have us be a vendor for them.
Yeah, that's really great to see that you've, got that account on and the business as well. And, why is it at this time that you're deciding to sell the business then, Val?
There is a patented product that I got approved with a buddy of mine last year, and we really want to dive into it now and really focus on that. And when building a brand, a lot of it on Amazon is pretty straightforward, PPC, whatnot. But when you're trying to build a brand, you want to build SEO ranking and focus on blogs and guides and, a lot of content to drive traffic into your sites. And at this point in time, I really want to focus that on the patent idea that has nothing to do with the pet industry whatsoever. But yeah, that's the reason why I do want to sell currently, so I can focus on that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, is there anything that you learned while you were building or growing this business that you plan on applying to these future projects down the road?
Yeah, there's a ton, just like I had mentioned, especially like the Shopify website and building an off Amazon brand is building your SEO ranking and doing, writing press releases and writing blogs and getting links coming back and forth through your sites and to your listings to help supplement your PPC spending on your Amazon site to generate traffic is very important. And people don't seem to necessarily know that, but that's what I tend to implement on my future projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's really important to diversify your traffic sources and your content. Now, was there anything that you tried with this business and it just didn't give you the ROI that you were expecting?
Oh, yeah. So early on, how people launch and ranked and got your items sold on Amazon is a lot different than how you would launch a product now. 2 years ago, we were doing, like viral launch, or people were doing like 90% off coupons. That doesn't work anymore. Nowadays, I think people are trying to do search, find, buy. But for me, my main thing was I was giving like 30% off coupons, and I was, shamelessly plugging that ad or that coupon on the 40,000 followers I had on Instagram. At the time it was like 15,000 to 30,000. Right now it has 40,000 followers. But whenever I was going to launch, I would shamelessly plug into that audience to try to generate traffic into my Amazon listing. But for some reason, it doesn't feel like it lands as well or converts as well coming from Instagram anymore. And so I've kind of, it's still there. You want to keep that active, but you want to start looking at other social media platforms and, stay adaptive to society's, conversion rates.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And, on that subject of, your marketing efforts, is there anything else you're doing in terms of marketing for the business at this time? I noticed, you also have an email list as well as a few of the major social media accounts set up already.
Yeah. So the email list, that automatically populates from anyone that orders on the website, and that allows us to subscribe them. And I use Constant Contact for that. And every month we put out a newsletter with a coupon code inside that newsletter. I try to keep the content that goes out to subscribers more value ridden than just, hey, here's your coupon. It's more around like, here's what we're doing, and this is what we're trying to do to, give more value to our customers instead of just trying to sell them. Mm-hmm. And so it used to be just, here's your coupon code, here, buy this right now and give me a conversion. Now it's more of a value proposition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's important to build up that rapport with your customers, and that'll ultimately get them to come back, time and time again. So it's, when you're treating them as a person, not just a number, it's, definitely reflects on the way you communicate with your audience as well, right?
Right.
So awesome. So, at this time then, is there anything that you would do personally if you were to keep this business to try and grow it?
Yeah. So right now, one of my main focuses would be to, as far as social media is concerned, is TikTok. TikTok is starting to grow really big, and they just approved certain businesses. You have to apply to get in, but they approved certain businesses to do sponsored ads on the TikTok's app. And that's something that I just applied to get into. We just opened a TikTok site or account for the business. So, it's in the early stages, but I think that's like the newest, latest way to market to a new audience. At the same time, because of the market recognition that we've got gained through our blogs and through our press releases, we are in contracts now and in discussions to expand into South Korea. And there's the largest distributor in the pet niche out there is working on our wholesale contract currently. So, this is the first move for international play, and it looks very big and a huge potential for, larger numbers. So that's a, 2 to 3 month sales cycle, just because you've got to get the approval through their customs, and you got to send out samples for their customs to see and test and all that stuff. So, but yeah, those are two main ways to grow the business currently.
Yeah, that's really great opportunity for anyone that's looking at this business that wants to capitalize on that. The fact that you're already going through and you're expanding your marketplace and, the international marketplaces and kind of already going through the bells and hoops to get through that for the new buyer. That's, a great opportunity for them to come in and pick it up from there.
Yeah, the Chewy, when we opened up to sell the Chewy wholesale, that's kind of opened the doors for us. And, we put the framework in place to be okay with talking to other large retailers about, doing wholesale business with them as well.
Yeah, no, it's really great. Now, Val, at this time, do you think there's any specific skill set that a buyer should already have prior to acquiring this business?
Yeah, I would suggest that this person would have to have some experience, a moderate amount of experience in FBA. This isn't for a beginner. You would need to already have some tactics in place that you've used and that will work. And just to be able to communicate with manufacturers correctly, and logistically get the products in and out of FBA when you need. So, obviously I'm there to train any potential buyer, but it would be nice to have someone that already kind of knows the system, not like I'm having to try to walk them through opening a seller account,
Right. So just some basic information or knowledge on the FBA business model, maybe even a little bit of experience with marketing on there, but no other specific skill set, you would say then?
No, it's pretty straightforward. As far as, Chewy's brand new. That's why I bring it up all the time. We started with them in January of this year. And so we put some SOPs in place. So all you got to do is read it and go through it line by line, to make sure that the process happens in an efficient manner. But, no special skills required whatsoever. It's pretty easy.
Okay. And then I also noticed on your listing as well, it says you don't have any employees at this time. So does that mean you're doing a majority of all the work on your own right now?
Yes. So everything, the website and Shopify sites are fulfilled by Amazon, right? Just whenever we get an order, I put in an order through Amazon. But yeah, no employees. For now, the Chewy orders are done in-house. But the plan there was to move into a 3PL fulfillment center when the orders got big enough that needed it. But for now, I was doing it on my own just to really understand the process that it takes of what they need to make sure that we have 100% fill rate.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, the next step was to move into a 3PL fulfillment center.
Okay.
For that.
So your orders coming from Chewy at this time are not that significant to really require a 3PL service at this time then?
No, and you could see it in the numbers. You could see that it's been growing, quite nicely from January of this year to now. But yeah, the orders were small enough where you can handle it under, in-house.
Got it. And then can you also describe, some of the typical tasks or weekly, operations that you're performing on the business at this time?
Sure. Every week, PPC is the biggest overhead in this business when you're talking about Amazon FBA, right? So every Monday I run a report on all the PPC spending and I optimize, I adjust bids up or down 5 to 19% on keywords that aren't converting or spending without any sales. And then once a month, then I really go through it and really optimize the PPC. But outside of that, that's the only real work that's needed.
Just that, fulfilling orders,
right.
Keeping on track. Are you doing much with the social media as well, posting on, manually, or do you have like a scheduling service?
Yeah, there's Hopper HQ is what I use to post on social media. You could schedule all of that out in one sitting. And I usually do that on Tuesdays. And yeah, you just post up all your content. And I build my content on Canva, like all the artwork or photos that you need. I built that on Canva. And all of this could be really done by a VA if you really want to. But, since I'm full time with this, it's kind of nice to, the actual work only takes a few hours. But, I like to supplement it every now and then with some extra content like blogs or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But the main thing is to be able to have a weekly routine on looking at your PPC optimization. Everything else is just, cherry on top or cream on top, or however you want to say it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that. Now, digging deeper then, Val, what do you feel are maybe some of the potential risks associated with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Some of the risks would be, it's been pretty steady. When this COVID-19 crisis came about, I thought that was going to be a huge hit to sales. But luckily in this environment, the pet industry has been labeled an essential product for Amazon. So it actually has been growing steadily.
Oh, it's really good to hear. It's
yeah,
always a good thing.
The biggest issue I've had over the last year was competitor meddling in Amazon listing. Someone would, try to hack into the listing, and I don't know how they do it, if they use a bot or whatnot, but, the main image would get like a cookie monster listed on the main image, and the listing would completely get shut down, right? And then it would be flagged for some sort of performance enhancing illegal banned substance. And then I would have to send in a document saying, no, this product doesn't have any of this stuff, and then it'd get relisted. Well, that happened maybe once or twice it happened twice in June of last year, but no issues since then. So I'd say the biggest risk, it would be, a competitor meddling, but, this was before brand registry, before the trademarks were approved. Now that the trademarks are approved and the brand registry is in place, there hasn't been any issues. So the only thing that I could see being a problem would be your pay-per-click spending. It could get out of control really fast. I mean, things change so fast. When the crisis did happen, my 30% ACoS jumped to like 200%. And it was like, what's going on here? And then you realize, well, people are converting on different keywords now, and you got to change that. So yeah, the biggest risk and challenge right there is just making sure that your advertising spend is correct on Amazon and you're not going over the budgets.
Got it. Yeah, keeping more diligent eye on, your ad spend is very important, especially when it comes to, as you had mentioned, these sudden changes in keywords that people are now ranking for and kind of changing up the algorithm, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, but the brand registry has really, really helped in keeping, competitor meddling out. And that was my biggest challenge over the last year, has just been that type of stuff. I'm glad brand registry really helps in solving that problem.
Right. Also, since you were on the subject of it, and we didn't really cover it too much earlier, was the trademarks that you have. It says you have 5 trademarks and 1 pending. Are those for specific product lines, or what are those, geared towards specifically?
One is for the actual brand name, and then the other one's the actual picture of the logo, all the marketing materials and on the labels. And then each product that we have in Amazon, that has its own trademark name, so no one could use the product names. Okay. And then the website is the one that's pending. The website name is the actual pending trademark. So anything that's been used for a name on that business has been trademarked.
Okay. That's a really smart thing to do. As you had mentioned, as other people try to come in and screw around with algorithms and names, it's good to have your, ducks in order and making sure that you're separating yourself from others. So that's really great.
That is the key. You need leverage, and Amazon support won't give you the leverage unless you have the proper protection.
Right. Yeah, definitely from a legal standpoint, you do have to protect yourself on that end. Now, Val, is signing up for a non-compete, meaning any other future businesses that you start down the road, you'll stay out of this specific niche? Is that something you are open and agreeing to?
Oh, yes. I believe I signed a 3-year non-compete in this category. So, yeah, I have no intention of being in this space.
Perfect. And then now, Val, how much support are you willing to offer potential buyers? Are you going with the typical 30 days of email and Skype support, or did you have something in addition that you would like to add on to that?
Yeah, so 30-day email and Skype is, necessary, I believe. And I'm definitely there to support. I'm also offering an extra 30 days. So 60 days. And if they need, to check in once every week or so, beyond that, that's fine by me too. But guaranteed, a full 60-day support is, to help them transition and make sure they have everything that they need to know to get this thing running smoothly and seamlessly and not, letting down our customers. And yeah, I'll do that.
No, it's really great to hear that you're willing to go that extra mile and support. I'm sure, potential buyers can see the value in that as well. Now, Val, are you also open to negotiating something like an earnout where you'll receive a large portion of the sales price up front and smaller payments closing out the deal a couple months after that?
No, this one would have to, I think it's priced competitively enough where that kind of scenario doesn't need to take place. I think now if we were talking, higher numbers, then that scenario would certainly make sense. But no, it would have full cash sale.
Okay. No, it's completely understandable considering, as what you had just mentioned right now. Now, just a few more sideline questions for you, Val. Is there anyone who inspired you while you were building this business that our listeners might like as well?
Yeah, I listen to, it's more on the business end of things, but I listen to Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins. Like I join his mastermind groups.
Oh, nice.
So I listen to those types of people. I read all their books, and you've got to stay on edge, and especially in these downturn economies, Grant Cardone and Robert Kiyosaki have really, really golden information for people that are interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. And, considering, the physical assets are pretty similar to digital assets in that sense, when we're comparing real estate with, the online space, you can take a lot of that cross information and apply it into the digital space as well. And it's always good to diversify your knowledge base. So yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, it really is the mindset more than it is the actual whatever they're trying to sell or whatever their business is. For some reason, all the successful businessmen all have the same mindset and the same type of actions they take, and especially in economies like now.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with you on that. Now, just on the subject of, from what we were at to where we're at now, what advice would you give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you started this business?
Protect yourself. Make sure you get that intellectual property hammered in and planned out and researched before starting. Early on, my biggest issues came with not having, my trademarks and intellectual property, sewn up. That's the biggest. Everything else is pretty easy, and, there'll definitely be obstacles, but, if you have the right mindset, you'll be able to get through those obstacles. But when you're not protected, then, it becomes an issue. I think that's why I went a little overboard with the 5 trademarks with 1 pending. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't an issue. So yeah, that's my biggest warning to anyone that's starting out in this business.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a bonus or a pro and a con, I guess, in that sense, where, you can go over and above and stress yourself out. But at the same time, as you had mentioned, you need to protect yourself and protect the, the sweat equity you've put into this business from someone else ultimately, coming in and taking over. Now, was there any tools or software that really helped you at the start of building this business, Val?
Yeah. So when I first started Jungle Scout and, all of their tools, their product research tools, their niche hunter tools. Also, I used Helium 10 software as well. Kind of just bounce back and forth on those. Canva is definitely a necessary tool. Feedback Whiz, those are the email campaigns to send out automatically to customers that buy from you. Constant Contact, and that's about it. I don't want to bog people down, but those are the essentials. I don't ever think about not using those products.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. It's, having something that can do your digital, design artwork and stuff like that with Canva. And then on top of that, having, as you mentioned, Helium 10 and Jungle Scout with product research and development, very solid tools to use when it comes to this business model. So completely agree with you on that. Now, why do you think that this business model is great for those who are maybe just getting started in the online business space?
I think it's apparent now. I mean, as entrepreneurs in FBA, we've always been working, from, any place we want to work in front of our laptop, while everyone else is going to work, driving, commuting traffic. But in a crisis like this, we're still functioning, we're still making money, we're still working, and other people are getting laid off. So, there's something to this whole e-commerce business. We're still able to generate income pretty easily, pretty seamlessly. Like if the news hadn't, or, if our friends and family hadn't told us, hey, we got to come back home and not leave because there's this virus out there, we would have never known, but our business still generates cash, especially if you're in the essential, obviously there's some categories that did take a hit, but if you're in the essential business, like this business is, you would have never known, so it just keeps generating money when other people are getting laid off. That's the truth of it. It's hard to, it's hard to take in sometimes, but that's the truth.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And, having that somewhat security, I guess, in that sense where, that's, you might have to make a few changes and a few adjustments to make it worthwhile, but the opportunities are there for those who really want to capitalize on that. And, I think that's what's great about the online space in general. Now, in regards to your business, Val, putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think that your business is worth buying?
Because it's an evergreen business. It's people love their pets. There will always be buying stuff for their pets. I think anyone that sees the listing and doesn't jump on it would be, will definitely be kicking themselves in the butt, to be honest. Just for me, I really want to focus on this patent for with my buddy and I want to do this with my buddies. So that's the only reason why I'm listing it, just so we can get a huge launch for this patented product. But if anyone sees the listing and thinks twice about not buying it, then, it's their loss. This thing will go quick.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And, as you had mentioned already through this call, a lot of the stuff on the back end that you've already set up, 5 registered trademarks and 1 pending, alone, just kind of to build up that moat, for a barrier of entry from your competition is, something that anyone that, with a little bit of knowledge in FBA or even just e-commerce in general and an understanding of how to market this product can really push it to its full potential.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, is there anything else that you'd like to share that I might have missed in this call, Val?
Yeah, just a couple things that are coming down the pipe. The business did just get a seller account opened over on Walmart.com, and so the integration to get the SKUs into Walmart.com is happening now. Also, like I'd mentioned, there is the South Korean distributor that is looking to do a minimum order of 300 units of each SKU.
Okay.
And we're working on that.
Nice. Yeah, it's really great that you've, already have a couple things in the pipeline. I'm sure any potential buyer that's looking at this business, they can really see the opportunity and, the future moves that you've already, kind of pushed them towards that direction to kind of help them out and, to know what to do as soon as they do acquire this asset. So that's really great, Val.
Right. Yeah, there's lots of growing still happening and actively happening. And any buyer could take the ball and just run with it.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Yeah. So that pretty much wraps up the call. It's really excited that, it was nice talking to you about this business, Val. And, I'm sure any potential buyers that are looking at this asset, they can really see the value and, the full potential that it does offer. And looking forward to seeing this listing getting sold for you here in the near future. If you had anything else you'd like to add on?
Nope, that's it. I appreciate your time, Brandon. Thanks for the interview.
Yeah, of course. I really like, talking to you about this business as well. I think you've really built something great here and something I'm sure any potential buyer out there that's looking at this can really see the value in.
Yeah, me too.
Great. Well, I, look forward to speaking with you again here soon, Val. I'm sure we'll get this listing sold for you here in the near future.
Thank you, Brandon. I look forward to it.
All right. Thank you. And all right, everyone. So thanks for listening. To learn more and to see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 47344. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the description in the box below and you can go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.